And this video is the video entitled The Trip to the Moon. Yes, the trip to the moon. The American Space Agency has just informed us that they have successfully sent, I think, 3 or 4 astronauts on a voyage from the Earth to the moon. They did not land in the moon, but they were able to circle the moon and take photographs of the moon on this side as well as on the other side. And that they have now returned successfully and safely. So we first of all congratulate the United States of America, and we congratulate the Space Agency for this successful travel or journey to the moon. Having said that, while they have gone on this journey for scientific purposes, for purposes of knowledge concerning the moon and the atmosphere of the moon and so on, and to take photographs of the moon, their work, their journey is critically important for us as well, for people who are students of the Qur'an. Because Allah has said, I think it is Surah Al-Qamar, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. He says, number one, اقتربت الساعة وشق القمر. That when the last hour draws close, at that time the moon would be broken. When the last hour draws close, the moon would be broken. I have understood this to be ayah mutashabiha, that this is not referring to any breaking up of the moon physically, but rather that the system of time created by Allah, sacred system of time, created by Allah at that time when He created the heavens and the earth. That system of sacred time is one in which the moon is centrally located. And this verse of the Quran in Surah Al-Qamar is informing us that in the end time, one of the very, very dangerous things which will happen when it says that the moon will be broken, it means by that the interpretation of the ta'wil is that the system of sacred time created by Allah, in which subhanahu wa ta'ala, in which the moon is centrally located, that system of time would be demolished. This is my view. And when we interpret the Quran, only Allah can confirm that an interpretation is correct. And so we must say, Allahu A'lam, Allah knows best. But as I have explained time and again in the past, even if we make a mistake when we interpret the Quran, we still get blessings, inshallah, for the effort that we have made. But if we make a mistake, tomorrow it'll be forgotten, go down the river of no return. But if an interpretation is correct, then that constitutes truth, and truth will prevail. The dogs can bark, but the caravan will keep on moving. Now then, the hadith, several hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ report that the Prophet ﷺ pointed his finger at the moon. And in consequence of pointing his finger at the moon broke into 2 parts. One part could be seen on the left of a mountain, and the other part was seen on the right side of the mountain. So these two parts were totally and completely severed from each other. And they were thousands and thousands of miles away from each other. And then the two parts came back together. Good now. This is what is in some of the hadiths, and this has been totally and completely accepted by the world of Islam, illa mashallah. Very, very few scholars of Islam have disputed these hadiths, and I am one of them. I am of the opinion, and this is what I've argued in my book on Dajjal's footprints in time. So I'm not going to give you all the arguments with which I started commencing that book, but I'll give you a taste of it. And when you read the book, you'll read all my arguments. I said, first of all, this is something very visible in the sky. And so there must be lots and lots of eyewitnesses, not just in Mecca, but elsewhere in Arabia. So Arabian historians who record the history of Arabia would have recorded this event, but there is no such record in history. The only place where we can find any record of this is in these few hadiths. And I find that, therefore, to be mysterious. Number two, not only would the moon, which is broken into two parts and so thousands of miles away from each other, would be visible in Mecca and in Arabia, but also in the surrounding territory, surrounding country. So not just Arab history will record it, but non-Arab history will also record it. But there is no such record, none. All that we have is some king in India, a Hindu king, declaring that he saw it. That's all. And I don't accept that as being valid. That is not evidence that is acceptable to me. Number two, if the moon was broken into two parts, then there would be a crack that would be visible. It would be a crack right around the moon because it was broken and then brought back together. If the Americans went up to the moon once before and took photographs, and if photographs of the moons can be taken from on Earth, up to this time we have no evidence of such a crack that is around the whole moon. None. If the Americans went up to the moon and they saw a crack all around the moon, but they refused to disclose it, suppose that if some people might say, well, then their credibility will be at stake, because they're not going to be the last to be able to go up to the moon. Now that they have gone up to the moon and circled the moon, there will be other countries. India is on the way. India is already on the way to go up to the moon. China will want to do it. Russia will want to do it. Others will want to do it. And if they go up and they see a crack all around the moon, then NASA will be exposed of hiding information. That will destroy their credibility. But I don't think NASA will do such a thing. I believe that the Americans have not seen any crack around the moon so far. And that others will go up to the moon and confirm that there is no crack all around the moon, which will confirm that the moon was once broken into two, as was said in those hadiths. If this is what happened, and this crack occurred, the earliest record of the history of the Prophet ﷺ is the one that was written by Ibn Ishaq and finished by his student Ibn Hisham. And in that life of the Prophet ﷺ written by Ibn Ishaq, there is no mention of the breaking up of the moon into two pieces. How do we explain that? But now, last of all, and most important of all, is this: that if the moon was broken into two pieces, and if the staff of Musa alayhi salam, Moses, became a snake, and if Allah's staff struck the water and the Red Sea parted, it is not a prophet of God who did that. No, it is Allah who did it. That's right. He is the one who did it. It is His power. The miracle is performed using a prophet of Allah, but Allah is the one who allows it to happen. And this is why when the Prophet, Allah's blessings, arrived in Medina after the Hijrah, he found the Jews fasting on the day of Ashura. And he asked them, why are you fasting on this day? And the rabbis replied and they said, we are fasting on this day to commemorate that miracle, meaning the water parting is farakna bikum al-bahr, the Red Sea parting, and Banu Israel crossing safely, and Pharaoh and his army being drowned when they attempted to cross. And so the Israelite people fasted to commemorate that miracle. And the Prophet ﷺ said, we have a greater right to Moses than you. And he ordered that we should fast on that day to commemorate that miracle. This is the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But the moon breaking into two parts is a far more spectacular miracle than the Red Sea parting. So how come nobody, not even Darul Uloom, nobody commemorates this miracle? That sounds strange, doesn't it? Every time a miracle takes place, Allah repeats it in the Quran several times. How come Allah makes no mention at all of this miracle in the Quran? And so the trip to the moon, which is the title of this video by the Americans, is important for us, because this trip of the moon will provide further confirmation that the ayah of the Quran in Surah Al-Qamar, اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر, that when the last hour draws close, the moon will be broken, is an ayah mutashabiha, and it has to be interpreted. It is not an ayah muhkama, and I have interpreted it the way I have done. And this is all I have to say at this time. Please wait for my book, Dajjal's Footprints in Time, in which you will find more information on this subject. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.